Should be good, dude.
All right, we're good. Yep, we're good.
Should be good.
Hello. We're good. We're good.
Should
Hello.
be good.
Welcome to another, my goodness, episode of Dark Motion Media Live Cast. I believe we're on 26. It's Wednesday, August 26th. Wow, I didn't even plan that. That's just magic right there, boys.
That is not what that is
That
at
was
all.
This means something.
got some stuff to talk about today. Game updates, new release, a lot of new releases, and we're not even into September. There's already a lot of decent releases coming out. Can I say releases one more time? But I would like to start us off with Star Citizen, which these two guys, they just don't give a shit about. But you know
Not at all.
what? The game actually has made some
I
headway
will
and progress.
soon.
Will he?
I'll
Yeah,
give a
he
shit
will
in a
soon.
month.
You'll give a shit when the multi-crew's out too, Palmer. You just wait. You just wait for the glory. And bask in it. But they're planning to release 3 modules this year to really kind of get the ground floor of the game out there, as opposed to just the dogfighting that's there now. And the first one is the social module. Basically, when you start up the game, you're in a hangar. And your ships are in your hangar. You can walk around your hangar. You can do dumb things in your hangar. But that's pretty much all you were relegated to. But now with the social module out, you can take an elevator, go up to...
You can take an elevator with this module.
Take an elevator up to the hangar, like another giant fucking hangar hub place.
Guys, they
and
added
like
an
they're
elevator.
gonna
Star Citizen best game ever.
that's what it
Holy
is.
shit,
It's
Mass
a giant
Effect.
elevator. I mean, to be fair, I already had giant elevators, but now it's an even bigger elevator. But anyway, it's the first time you can actually interact with other players. You can't actually do anything, but they're planning to add that in stages. Like this is just the ground floor, and it's kind of cool to see the demo of it. You can't actually see any footage of it because you had to sign a thing. There's only like 2,000 players, and actually they're releasing another. They're releasing it in waves. First wave went to early backers, I believe. The second wave was to active users, but they're sending out 2,000 when there's almost 1 million people. But this should only be for the first week or so, just to kind of get the kinks out before they dump it out and break the game again, which will be fun. But yeah, it's been a while since Star Citizen has seen any real headway in development, as opposed to just like ships or remodeling ships, ship bullshit. So it's nice to have something new. And with the first person shooter module about a month away, we'll expand on that, and then hopefully Arena Commander by October, Arena Commander 2.0, in which we'll be able to hop in my Retaliator and like shoot each other in the same ship, and it'll just be funsies, boys.
All right,
Also, want to bring up this Friday they're doing a concept sale, which is one of those like the ship sales, Jesus, that they do from time to time, but it's one of the really pricey ones. The ship itself is called a Vanguard. It's like a giant dogfighter. It can hold it has 3 crew, I think. But yeah, just basic giant dogfighter. And when I say the ship's expensive, the base version is $250. They're doing a electronic warfare version, which you'll be able to like jam transmissions and fuck with enemy comms and shit like that. It'll be $275, and they're doing a bomber version, which is $295, which is kind of like a small Retaliator, like a bomber ship. So I don't really know why it's more expensive than the Retaliator, even with a torpedo base. But
None of
whatever.
this sounds like it makes any sense really yet.
It's Star Citizen. It's not supposed to make sense. You spend money on fake ships that aren't in a game that probably won't be out for a couple years.
Yeah.
You just have a good time. But you know what? At the fucking moment, it's fucking better than Dota, boys. So, But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because Star Citizen just very stagnant lately. And by lately, I mean 6 months. So it's nice to have something moving forward. But anyway, speaking of moving forward, let's talk about the new releases that I mentioned earlier. Actually, let's start with the Hearthstone expansion.
Christine?
I started playing this again because I couldn't sleep at like 5 in the morning, and slowly got back into it thanks to playing it on a Kindle as opposed to a PC. Which, I don't know, it just makes the game, I really don't give a shit about it. I can just kind of not pay attention and still win. It's pretty fantastic. I've only opened 1 pack, and I've kind of glanced at the new cards. The only thing off the top of my mind I think looks really cool is building some like stupid paladin deck using your hero power and summoning shitty minions that just get buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed.
Yeah,
Which just sounds so
I've noticed
fucking
quite a few
annoying.
of that actually.
Yeah, it just seems so fucking annoying, so I'm really interested in it.
Yeah.
What has piqued your interest as far as the cards go with the heroes?
Well,
Latest-
well, we don't have any regular viewers, so as nobody knows, I really prefer playing Shams. I've talked about that a lot in the past. And this expansion brings a lot of really, really interesting elements to Shamans. Now I've tried it like a few other times before. I've tried to make in the past like a pure totem deck, and see how it would work and like what would work with it. Try to like if I can't make it pure totem, like as many totems as I can possibly get in the
close
deck.
as you can to the idea, yeah.
And so with the new expansion, there's a bunch of cards that really help with that, and really help kind of allow you to remain in tempo while playing mostly totems. And I haven't had a lot of success with it so far, but I'm still like tweaking it here and there. Like whenever these expansions come out for like the first, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, I don't look at like Hearthstone. I don't like look at any deck builder stuff. Like I just like play the game purely and try to figure out what synergizes and what I play best with before like looking at other people's ideas. So yeah,
I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, and so like for the next few weeks, I'm going to be doing this and just kind of like trying to hone in on playing Shaman. It's not about like gold grinding or anything for me. It's just about playing my favorite class and seeing what I can do with it. I didn't get the Shaman Legendary. I have enough to craft it, but I have a similar mentality with crafting. Like I won't craft anything except like commons or rares for like the first couple weeks after an expansion comes out, because I want to see like what plays well and like what actually works and what doesn't. And so yeah, usually after I take the time to do it myself, I'll get on other sites and kind of see other players' ideas and then start crafting cards from there. But I think I want to craft a new Shaman Legendary, although I was talking with like Isaac and stuff. Isaac seems to think it's really overrated. Crip seems to think it's really overrated. I don't know. I think there's potential there, but I'd have to play.
I actually have no idea what it is or what it does.
It's like 5 or 6 mana for 4/4. It might be a 5/5. I can't remember honestly off the top of my head, but its buff is that when it comes into play, all the cards in your deck gain +1/+1. So like any cards that you haven't drawn before, like out of the deck, like everything in your deck gets +1/+1. So everything in your hand and what you haven't drawn.
Very stupid OP.
It seems OP.
Does that count towards does that count towards totems or no?
No, it doesn't. Just cards in your deck. But it could be really useful for keeping certain cards alive that I want to keep alive. Especially one, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's like 3/6, I think, for 5 mana, and its Inspire is that it gives all your totems +2 attack.
Yeah, I've run into that in the wilds.
And so like there's a lot of really, really awesome potential there, and I want to see if I can tap into it. So like that card and Tusker Totemic is a 3/2 for 3 mana that you drop it. It plays any random totem. It doesn't have to be like just one of the 3 that you drop from your hero power. It's any totem card in the game. And I've gotten some really, really sick stuff from that. Like I had one where I was able to play that card like 2 turns in a row successfully. Both times it dropped Banatide totems, and I was just drawing cards left and right. It was awesome. And so there's a lot of potential there. I think I just have to kind of play around with it and tweak it some more. I'm trying to debate whether I'm going to add Zombie Chow and like a few other things and really try to make it like a tempo deck. So I've got some sort of board control until I can just amass the board of totems and just throw out. The goal is to throw out a Bloodlust on a board full of totems and just spam well played. And just go for the face, and it would be glorious if I could ever actually pull that off. That would just. I'd be ready to say I could quit playing Hearthstone, honestly. I think I'd be done with it. I'd consider it beaten at that point. So I'm having a lot of fun with this expansion. Time will tell what it is. I mean, that's the great thing. Regardless of your stance on Hearthstone, like whenever an expansion comes out, it is a game that evolves on a daily basis for like weeks at a time. And then the meta will start to kind of like... people will figure it out, and it'll start to slow down. But for the next few weeks, it's just a blast to play this game, and it's like that. Like I said, when any expansion comes out, so I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
There's just so many cards. Like even with something like Dota, when a new hero comes out, it's kind of interesting and funny to see the way people like experiment with it and do weird things. But with Hearthstone, these giant expansions, there are over 100 cards in each expansion, and it's all. They're packs, you don't know what cards you're getting. It's just it's interesting to see it all kind of come into play, and yeah, the meta kind of form on Hearthstone and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I will say I still prefer the single player expansions over just these massive card drops. in my opinion. Just because it does something a little.
I agree. I think I favor those two.
I just recently found out that I just assumed you could craft those cards, but one day an angry Isaac messaged me.
Oh yeah, you
that,
can't craft.
He had to buy
you can't.
I think it's kind of dumb, honestly, because there are some cards in both those expansions that are really that would be really nice to have in just about any deck. So that's
that is true. Well, like especially fucking Naxxramas. Like there are some absolutely essential cards from that expansion that like you cannot live without if you're trying to play ranked at all.
Especially if you're doing like budget ranked mech or like Hunter or something. There's so many good cards in there for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm like I said, having fun with it. Looking forward to playing it for the next few weeks. I mean, I never really stopped playing Hearthstone, but it'll be good. I'm excited.
It's kind of weird because I'm starting to play Hearthstone again, but I really couldn't give a shit about the new expansion. I'm still trying to build a nice mech deck just because that's one of the easiest, or rather cheapest dust costing decks to build. So yeah, but I am playing it again. So I guess just everyone talking about it kind of did it.
Yeah, mech decks and Zulok decks are still like the best things that you can try to build and play and still stand a really good chance with in ranked if you're a good player. Without having to have a lot of stuff, and it is great actually that exists. So I don't know, just play those and kind of use that to kind of really what you need to do is start playing Arena. I think I've told you this before though, like you just need to start playing Arena.
I don't know, I'm impatient. I see 100 gold, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get a card I want, and like maybe a tenth of the time I get a card I need. But yeah, that's fucking Blizzard, boys. So.
Well, if you can just save up that extra 50, and you have the potential to walk away with like 300 or 400 gold. Like
I don't know, it's just something about spending in-game gold to play game mode. Really, I don't like it. I just think it's dumb. I don't have any. I'm not against Arena, like that other card game I sometimes play, Infinity Wars. They call it Rift Run, but they don't charge you for it. Sometimes I play that, but I mean I'm not against Arena. I just figure fuck it, I got 100 gold. And I mean, you have to win like 5 or 6 games before you get past the point where it would be more if you just kept 150 gold.
You have to win 5 for there to be a chance for you to get past 150, because that means that it can increase your dust or your gold. So you're not guaranteed 5 wins, but that's where you start to get to that threshold.
Like I generally win more games than I lose with Hearthstone, but it's not that huge of a number. Like I'd probably go like 3-2 or something.
How do you feel about the incentive they added to play ranked?
The chest thing.
Yeah, the chest thing.
I actually don't know what's in it. I think people from what I read, it's supposed to be like a golden common or a golden card or something, and then the tiers it turns into a golden rare and shit like that.
Yeah, like it has a very high chance of dropping a golden, and then on top of that, like depending on your rank, you have a much higher chance for getting any rank. Anytime you go past rank 20, you can still get a legendary. Your chances are just very low. But once you get past rank 20, you start getting into like guaranteed of a certain quality. And then you can also get gold or dust bonuses as a secondary thing. I'm not sure if you can get 2 cards, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was a thing that happened too. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Well, Blizzard hasn't actually come out and officially said what it's going to be either. But I mean, we're 5 days away, so we'll know soon enough. But no, I think that's good. I think we can both agree that there needs to be more rewards for players that actually play this fucking game, aside from a daily quest that gets you 40 to 60 gold.
Yeah.
Which for people that don't know is half a booster.
Yeah,
so it's good. It's definitely good they added that.
I agree.
And as much as I flamed it, I really like not the heroes, but one of the heroes card backs. I think the Hunter Elf Warrior woman. She's got that arrow card back that just for some reason I think looks amazing.
Yeah.
But I can't bring myself to put money into this game, Palmer. I won't have it. I can't.
Yeah, well, I mean, if honestly,
it sounds like you're finding success without having to spend a single dollar.
I bought both the expansions, so. But spending minimal, I guess. Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. But I guess in comparison to people that spend hundreds of dollars on the game for packs. It's not that big of a deal.
Whatever, dude. And then there's people like me that pre-ordered the fucking expansion. So you know.
I mean, what, you saved a little bit of money, you got a card back. Like, if you really like are into the game, it's totally understandable that you would do that.
I actually thought that was like a legitimately like decent deal too. So
yeah, it's something you play every day. Save a little bit of money, get a card back. GG, good stuff.
Yeah,
it's understandable.
Understandable.
But let's get the fuck off Blizzard, for the fuck's sakes.
Don't hate, I appreciate it.
Because, you know, well, fuck Blizzard. Fuck them. Gears. The Gears of War, the remastered edition, came out. Not much to say. It looks nice. It's really...
Have you played it?
Yeah. It's nice to play Gears 1 at 60 frames a second. Like, it feels much more fluid. And the game itself is so clunky.
Does it look significantly better?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, you know, comparison to Halo 2 to Halo 2 Anniversary, because, you know, the graphical engine jump wasn't as severe. But yeah, it definitely looks better. The character models look they look pretty amazing. Facial animations look good. I actually watched some old Gears videos just to get a feel for it, like the day it was coming out, just so I could see the difference. And there's a pretty substantial difference. The gameplay is still very clunky. Like, it just was that way in Gears, and now that Gears is much more smoother at 60 frames a second, it feels much more clunky than it should. But it's still, you know, it's still a fun game. You still like turn and try to do those blind shotguns and like liquefy a person in one hit. That's all multiplayer really is right now. So, you know, it's definitely Gears.
Is it literally the same multiplayer from the original one, or are there any improvements to it at all?
Yes, I mean, I've only played on it. Yes, I've only played on a couple maps. I haven't, because I've had so many things released in the past week. I haven't really been able to delve into one thing in particular. But I have no complaints whatsoever. $40 remastered edition.
Okay. Well,
I mean, you know, nothing amazing. But if you played Gears back in the day and had fond memories of it, this is definitely something worth revisiting and picking up.
And have an Xbox One.
And have an Xbox One. That is something you need for the Gears remaster. Although that is coming to PC, so. But I don't know if they're doing the streaming thing or streaming to the Xbox to it or what. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but they said it's coming to the PC, so I imagine we'll hear something by spring of next year.
Okay. Well, you know, when it comes out on PC, I'll probably pick it up.
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up too again, because.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Because the problem is, like, Metal Gear Solid's coming out, Fallout's coming out.
It's like a week away.
Yeah. I need to decide what I'm going to do about that.
we all know what you're going to do with that, Palmer. It's just a matter of time. Maybe you'll luck out. GMG will have a deal at like the last second.
Maybe.
Possible.
I'm hoping. Otherwise, I'm just going to buy it from that sketchy-ass fucking key site that I always buy from.
Dude, just giving those Russians money and, like, feeding their
They're reliable, and they're no shit. Their customer service is better than like fucking Valve's.
Well, I mean, like a pet rock is better than customer service.
That's all I'm. You know, like what I'm trying to say is they actually have decent like customer service. Like, I don't know. It's good.
It's actually just slave labor.
It probably is, but it's still better than Valve. No, seriously though, like anytime I contact them, they like immediately respond, and I don't know. I've never had any issues with them, dude. So yeah, I'm gonna wait and see what happens. I think they've got Metal Gear Solid right now for like $45. We'll see. I don't know. I probably shouldn't do that, but we'll see.
Didn't you send me a link the other day that it was like a glitch on some game website?
Yeah,
where
GMG had a glitch. Green Man Gaming, key selling website, had a deal on Mad Max for being half off because it's Mad Max and he really gives a shit. Probably gonna suck, so it's half off. But they just, I don't know, something went goofy on there, and the 50% off code applied towards everything on the site. So obviously the games deal Reddit was just like Fallout 4, $30, go. And actually with GMG, they're usually pretty good about stuff like that. They'll take it down in like minutes, but that deal was actually up for like an hour before.
Yeah, it was up for a while. up for a while.
It was up for long enough to the point where I was like, do I really want like anything else coming out for half off?
I thought about.
I'll settle for.
I almost just said screw it and got fucking Star Wars Battlefield.
Star Wars Battlefield. What it is?
Almost came really close. Decided not to. And burned too many times. Nice.
GMG usually does like 25% off upcoming releases and stuff like that, so that's nothing new. But just the fact that it was 50 kind of made everyone lose their shit because we're all just poor, I guess. Poor gamers doing our poor gamer thing.
Poor gamers gonna be poor, man.
Indeed. All right. What else we got for new releases? Shadowrun Hong Kong. No complaints whatsoever. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that came out, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out last Thursday. Shadowrun Returns was the first game that came out in 2013. It was great great isometric RPGs. Great storytelling. Graphically, it didn't look fantastic, but just the art assets looked really good. And then they released an expansion the next year, Dragonfall, which became its own standalone thing, which just improved significantly on the first game. With Hong Kong, it looks to improve even further. It just looks better. This time around, they built the game not having the constraints of being forced to port it to mobile like they did the last two games, so it just looked a little bit better. It still looks the same. It's still the same engine, but it just didn't feel as restricted. Story so far is pretty good. I'm like 10 hours into it, and I'm nowhere near the end, so it seems like it's going to be even longer than the previous two games, which is a good thing. But yeah, the Shadowrun games are really fun if you like isometric RPGs, and if you played any of the first two, you will definitely like Hong Kong. And it's just kind of cool, the Shadowrun universe set in Hong Kong, because it's the Shadowrun universe in fucking Hong Kong. Like, what's not to love? But
that's
speaking
like
of awesome looking
cyberpunk, right?
Yeah, man, Hong Kong, totally.
You said Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, yeah. But speaking of pretty looking games, Trine 3 came out, and it's been pretty positively received. That's not how I wanted to phrase that, but whatever. But it does have some flaws. I haven't actually finished it because I've been playing all these new releases, so I haven't actually finished any goddamn thing. But it looks like the game basically ran out of money, and they just went to release it. And it's very short. Most people are reporting that it's with Trine 2 was like the best of the series in my opinion. It's a fucking amazing game. And the reason they were able to make this game is because they put Trine in the Humble Bundle back in 2011. And this is back when Humble Bundle did a bundle every 3 months, so when they sold a bundle, they sold like fucking millions of copies. And that fucking money alone basically allowed them to build Trine 2. With Trine 3, they had a bit of money for Trine 2. They did the early access route to raise some funds, but it just seems like the leap from 2.5D to 3D just required a lot more money, I think, than they thought it would. The game still looks great. Visually, it's one of the best looking games you will play on PC, like, period. It's very colorful, it's very pretty, everything's just fantastic. But the game is apparently very, very short. And also, like I said, I haven't actually finished it, but apparently there's a cliffhanger ending that the internet was very upset with because they just figured that you're the route of the DLC. But Frozen Byte, the developers, put out a statement like the day it came out saying, "Yeah, we just ran out of money. We weren't planning on going the DLC route. We're not sure what we're going to do right now." If I had to predict what they were going to do, I think they are going to try to put some type of better ending onto it without having to sell it. They're good developers. They went back and they redid the first Trine game and the second Trine game's engine like completely and added co-op. Like, it was awesome. So they're fucking great developers. I just think they someone fucked up along the way in the past few months that this was on early access, and they just decided to push it to release. So they're dealing with the aftermath of that. But
that's a fucking bummer, dude.
Yeah, I mean it's still a fucking amazing game. It's still fun to play. It's just it's really fucking short. And you have to keep in mind, Trine 1.
What are we talking about here?
Like 4 or 5 hours is the general consensus, and that's not much. Like, the first Trine game was around 6 hours. I think the second one with all the Game of the Year stuff was probably more around like 12 or 15. But like, these games aren't terribly long, so that it's not that big of an issue. It's just I think it's more the cliffhanger ending. Like I said, I haven't experienced it myself, but I'll probably be really fucking, like, just from what I've read, I'll probably be really fucking mad. It just seems like people are. This is a game that tells a really good story, and it does it in a beautiful way, and it just looks fucking fantastic. And I think it's just a shitty cliffhanger ending that they were kind of like, we'll get to this later. And people are just really pissed about that. That's basically what I'm reading from all the forums and
Dude, what do you do
subreddits and whatnot.
when beloved devs start fucking up?
I mean, they
How
did
much
the
is it on
Shadowrun
the
games.
devs
They've done a
end,
couple games.
and how much is on the publishers' end? I mean, they just didn't want to give them
They're
any
an
more money
an
to continue
independent
the game.
thing. They're not being forced by some big publisher. They run their own thing.
Oh,
I just
really?
think they ran out of money. That's just what they said. So whatever. But hopefully they will fix that at some point down the road. The game's not very buggy though.
I feel like
There are
if
bugs,
this
but I
was,
haven't that many.
like part of like some other franchise or like some other game, like you'd be a lot more angry. But because it's trying, you're being like forgiving on it. I feel like
I'm not really, well, like I said, I haven't experienced it myself. I'm like I said, I might be very pissed, in a week's time when I finished it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're good developers. They went back and they like redid the entire first game for no additional cost. Like, they're not
I guess that's
shifty fuckwots. It's just I think someone fucking goofed along in the past like 6 months since it entered early access, and they need to fix that. And I'm hoping they'll fix that.
I'm sure they will.
Frozen Byte's not like one of my top developers, but they just with the Trine series alone, they've done very good with that. They did the Shadowrun games years back, and they were just, whatever the fuck top-down shooters. They weren't terribly impressive, but just with Trine, they've been really good with. So I'm hoping that they do something to fix whatever the fuck is wrong with it. And a lot of people were complaining about the 3D aspect of it too, but actually not even a lot. Just Total Biscuit mainly. But most people seem like if you go on the Steam store page, it's all mostly positive reviews. People seem to love it, but just the game length, kind of disappointing. But we've had this argument fucking 10 times over about game length and the value you get out of it and yada yada yada. I just really hope it's not a shitty cliffhanger ending. That's what I don't want. I do not want. But yeah, that's all stuff that's come out over the past week. And I also want to point out that Regicide, something we've talked about in length previously on this cast, is coming out September 8th. For those that don't know, Warhammer 40k Regicide is basically 40k chest. But with the release, they're going to be adding a campaign, more factions, XP, leveling, item progression, shit like that. So hopefully it'll get a bit more depth to it, as opposed to just, clunky animations of chess and hilarity and brutality. I've only played it a couple times since like it initially released, and me and Palmer messed around with it, and there was minor progression, which is what they're planning to release. I'm kind of surprised at doing a full 50 mission or whatever mission campaign they said they were putting out. So good on them, I guess. Good on them.
I don't think that's gonna happen personally, but I guess we'll find out.
Well, they've claimed that they're done. They're just polishing it up for the next couple weeks. Yeah, full 50 mission story driven campaign. They've added a couple factions, like when I last played a few months ago, but I don't know. Just adding a few factions and adding a 50 mission campaign seems like a entirely different monster.
Yeah. I don't really know why you'd need campaign for a game like that, though, to be completely honest. Like,
Me neither. I guess people just want a bit more bang for their buck. I mean, it's 40k. You really don't need much story to make it kind of hilariously entertaining.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I like just it being a stupid chess game.
I mean, that's where it shines anyway. I'm sure the 50 mission story-driven campaign won't be, terribly interesting.
Yeah. I'm not expecting a whole lot from that. But we'll see, I guess. I already bought the fucking thing.
Well, I mean, that's also another thing. It's a $15 game, so, who really gives a shit once you get your playtime out of it.
Yeah.
All right, let's we still got some stuff to talk about. Let's move into the Killing Floor realm.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
It's developers that we like.
All right, finally something I know.
Something Jose knows about.
Jesus Christ.
First, I want to bring up Chivalry. Sorry, Chivalry's doing another cross-promotional thing with Killing Floor. They did it with Depth a few months back. It was really cool. Basically, just added Depth weapons to Chivalry, added Chivalry weapons to Depth. Now they're doing it with Killing Floor. In Chivalry, if you own Killing Floor 2, you get like a giant broadsword that has two cut-off hands at the hilt. Goofy gas mask that's kind of reminiscent of Mr. Foster. And just a few kind of Killing Floor-esque items that kind of fit into the Chivalry theme. So I like that a lot. And if you own Chivalry on Killing Floor 2, you get a knight character, apparently. None of this stuff is in either of the games yet. They put out these patch notes like a couple days ago, and they're not actually in the games yet, which kind of fucking annoys me. But
Dude, I want to play as a knight.
yes, I do.
Sniper
too.
knight, though.
Sniper knight. Not yet, apparently. Not yet, Palmer.
Not yet.
I mean, you still got the assault class, but they're like more assault than sniper. In the
Mm.
first game, they kind of worked for snipers, but
Mm.
they
They don't even have like very many sniper. I don't even think they have any sniper related stuff in the game yet.
they only had a couple rifles in the first game.
Yeah, but then there was like the crossbow.
Yeah, but all that shit came later. That's also
Oh,
something
well,
else I want to get into. Killing Floor put out a big update, or they're going to be putting out a big update soon with a couple new maps, a few new perks, retweaking the game itself. But I just want to point out that when Killing Floor 1 came out in like 2009, I didn't even play it. I'm talking like 2010, when I was playing Killing Floor after it had a few substantial updates. There really wasn't that much stuff in the game. Most of this content was like just from the mod community. There were only like maybe
A handful
8
of
maps.
maps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there weren't that. It wasn't nearly as massive as it became in recent years, just with all the constant updates. So, I foresee a lot of fucking people raging on just the reviews and the subreddit and all the shit on the Steam page, just not really aware that the base version of Killing Floor only had so many maps. And honestly, it doesn't really need them. Like it's something that's kind of a living game that grows over time. The modding community is really what pushes it forward and drives it to the fucking level of insanity we're all used to in Killing Floor.
Yeah, actually, that alone, I forgot kind of about that being a thing in Killing Floor. I don't know why I did, but I did. I kind of do want to jump back on there and just to check out like some of the new maps.
Yeah, again, I don't think the update's actually live yet, but it will be out, I think, by the end of this week. But yeah, 2 new maps, a few new perks. Actually have all that somewhere. The Firebug Demolitions and a reworked Berserker perk. Completely reworked, apparently, Berserker perk tree.
Yeah, and that really needed to get reworked. Like, I played a lot of Berserker, and Berserker just falls the fuck off at, like, the 5th wave, 6th wave. It just starts being awful. So yeah, I to be honest, I'll probably get on to check that out too, because I did love just just hacking up Zeds with a machete. It doesn't get any better than that.
No, it really doesn't. Especially like a katana or something where you
Yeah.
just have that range.
Or what's the final one, that like chainsaw gun, or like saw gun?
Oh,
It
yeah,
fires
yeah.
the discs.
Yeah, like the giant thing from fucking Fallout 3.
Yeah.
It's been a few months since I've played, but whatever happened with that like reset? Did they go through with that or?
I popped on about a week ago and there was no reset, so
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
thinking at this point it's just you get to keep your levels.
Okay.
I'd be surprised if there wasn't at least one, but yeah, I don't think it'll be until farther out. Like
They might wipe, but I'm thinking they'll probably let you keep your progression, just because I think if they were gonna wipe many times, we would have seen one by now.
yeah,
But maybe with this update they'll do one, because it's not just like these 2 maps and these 3 perks. There's also like 13 new weapons. There's a couple new characters. The Chivalry one we mentioned. There's also a new character that you get if you own Red Orchestra 2 or Rising Storm. Anton, so I'm guessing a Russian. But yeah, a lot of new weapons, a lot of old favorites coming back, like the Dragon's Breath trench gun, which is the shotgun that sets things on fire, which is really good for crowd control. C4 is coming back, grenade pistol, like just a lot of stuff from the first game is getting in this one, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And they messed around with a lot of the perks for certain stuff. Mainly Berserker, because yeah, that got pretty much completely reworked. But I think they did some minor tweaking to other skill sets. But basically, this is a huge Killing Floor update, and it's like one we've been waiting for, because I think they've only done one substantial one before, and it was basically a map and a couple guns and some balance tweaks. This is a pretty sizable update, so
well, it's been a while. It's been a while since the last one, so.
From what I'm reading,
Months.
it looks like they really buffed the commando skill tree.
Commando is one of the more popular ones, just because people like grabbing, just an assault rifle and going ham.
Mhm.
No one likes repairing doors or healing people, or it takes a certain kind of person to run out a pile of Zeds with nothing but a machete and the word of Allah.
Berserkers, man. I'm just gonna have that Quran thing playing the entire time. It'll be great.
Should be amazing. It'll change your life, sir.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
They're also doing like a lot of weapons messing around with the cost of weapons and stuff like that. It's just like this huge list of patch notes. Like it would take us an hour to get through the entirety of it. So I'm sure probably next week we'll all be playing Killing Floor together. Fucking, we can all get it working. Yeah, hopefully that'll fucking fix whatever issue people were having, because it's not just you. People were having that issue, so hopefully that will fix it.
They've made Hans like easier to kill now.
Really?
Yeah, they've added a bunch of shit that warns you that he's about to throw grenades or go into like beast mode and all this other stuff that makes it a little easier.
Okay.
But I'm sure they know what they're doing.
I think they're Tripwire. They're pretty good at that stuff.
Yeah, they are. They're one of those developers that I trust.
Developers.
Yeah.
Before we get into the news and wrap stuff up, I want to talk about the Flock for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Flock is basically a weird alien monster, Alan Wake-esque game. Basically, everyone spawns into a server. One player has this giant light thing, and everyone else is a monster. You get hit by the light as a monster, you die, and that's pretty much all there is to it. And then I guess the goal is to get the light and take it to wherever you're supposed to take it to. Not much depth to it. It looks really terrible. I like it's kind of gimmicky, but I like the idea of like a game that will eventually die and like have this giant climactic finale and all that good shit.
Yeah.
But the game itself is just so...
Is it really that bad?
Yeah, like I've watched streams, I watched Total Biscuit's video, I've got a few different sources, just, not to be biased, and it just looks it looks boring as fuck, honestly. Like, picture Alan Wake, but boring. It's kind of...
So Alan Wake?
Dude, Alan Wake is awesome.
Dude, the top three, I guess, negative recommendations or reviews on the Steam page are all about how it has zero content.
Yeah,
not enough to justify like the price.
Yeah, it's $17, which is kind of a weird price point to begin with, but yeah, there's like 2 or 3 maps. There's really nothing to it. Games last as long as like 5 minutes. Like there's just not much to it. It's kind of cool that there's like a set number of lives, even though it's like a stupid number. It's like 250 million or something. And once those lives run out, the game's over. That could be cool in concept, but I maybe if you did it like seasonally and you did it with a game that actually was fun and had content, that might be really fucking cool. But this just, I had my eye on it for a while just because it was kind of an intriguing concept, and it looks like a fucking bust. So,
all right. Well,
I wonder if anyone has compiled any like information on like the lifespan of new shooters, like niche shooters. Maybe they know that the game will eventually like die and like be really obscure, so like they added that gimmick to it. So like maybe like in a few months from now it will naturally die, but they'll say no, it naturally died on purpose. Like we did this. This is our decision to end this game, not like the community's decision. I think that's where that gimmick came from.
I can see that.
And unfortunately, they thought they could get away with just slapping on a gimmick to this shooter without any like.
It's not even a shooter.
Without anything. It's not a shooter or a flashlighter.
A
flashlighter.
I guess if you shoot light, I guess it counts as a shooter.
But that's weird. I always fall for bullshit like this. Like,
ew.
And
sad.
for like whatever reason, I was like, nah, not this time, not with this game. I knew there was something up. And sure enough. But goddamn.
Yeah, it's just not much to it.
I hope somebody tags that. I hope that becomes a thing now on Steam. That game gets tagged as a flashlighter.
Spawn a new genre of game.
Yeah.
All thanks to Jose and his goofiness.
Oh man.
But yeah, let's wrap up with some relevant news.
Does that mean that like Outlast is a night visioner?
Wouldn't that be like a camcorder?
It's a camcorder.
A selfie.
A selfie.
But you never actually look at yourself.
That's true. Maybe that weird like fucking.
It's a voyeur.
Grudge game is like a selfie, or like Thailand or Malaysia or some shit. That like weird Grudge girl game. I'm fucking getting way off base. GOG. Remember them? We were all about them, and then we all kind of were like, forgot. But yeah, they're still around, and they recently acquired a lot of old Bethesda Softworks stuff, which means old Elder Scrolls games, old ID Software stuff like Doom and Quake. Not a huge deal. Most of the stuff, it's kind of cool to have the older Elder Scrolls games on there. Fuck, I cannot say that. Save my life. But yeah, it's very cool to have that stuff on there because GOG's really good about their releases. They're really good about making sure they fucking work.
It's up to what, Morrowind, right? Or is
Morrowind.
Okay.
Yeah. There's like 4 came out in the 90s, and there was 3, and then Morrowind, and Oblivion, and Skyrim. The Elder Scrolls that we are familiar with. But yeah, it's just kind of cool to see the way the series began, because the first game was pretty fucking, I don't want to say awful, but it wasn't terribly good. Daggerfall looks really cool. I'm probably going to pick that up later tonight, just because it's, as far as game worlds go, it's still one of the biggest, and that game came out like 20 years ago, so it's pretty cool. And the animations actually look kind of cool. It's one of those old school like dungeon crawlers. You know, you move forward, you turn, you get hit by bats and shit like that. I really like that type of gameplay. So very
somebody's
cool.
spamming Braille in chat.
I mean, you know,
Actually, no. I guess that's
accommodating
Morse,
the
Morse code, right?
Morse code. Yeah, maybe.
I wonder what it says.
Maybe it's Morse. It's Morse code in Braille.
It's Morse code.
You can't wake up, Dad.
Shit would be redundant.
Oh.
Moving on to more news. Apparently, the WoW player base has dropped quite a bit in the past.
a lot.
Month or two. We've talked about this.
It to like really peak though again with the new expansion.
Yeah, we talked about this previously with the new expansion model Blizzard is doing. I don't really think that'll be a big deal. I think it's going to be like the new tradition. Like the player base will kind of start to dwindle, then an expansion will come out, it'll burst to life again, and then 6 months later it'll dwindle again. The next expansion. I'm pretty sure that's the route that the World of Warcraft is going to be taking in the next couple years. Because as much as I just don't like that game anymore, a lot of fucking people do, and it's even if their player base does drop by 44% or whatever the fuck it is, that game is still pulling in a stupid amount of money, and that's not even bringing in Heroes of the Storm or Hearthstone or all their other IPs. So don't see that going anywhere. Kind of a clickbait article, honestly. I don't know why the fuck I brought that up. I mean, it's kind of interesting that the player base has dropped by that. Like, 44% is a huge percentage, but yeah, it'll be back in a few months whenever they release their new expansion.
I just translated the Morse code.
Is it good?
Sing my name, Batman, and rub I can't believe it's not butter all over your face. And when you're done, say there you go, Big Daddy. What in the actual fuck?
It's Twitch chat, man. That's just what it is.
That's amazing. Oh, I can actually play what this sounds like. Oh, I'm tempted. Oh, there it is. Everybody can listen to it now. We're just gonna broadcast this for the rest of the cast.
Last bit of interesting little tidbit. Jose, you got excited about this. Turok, the original games, are getting PC re-releases in the near future. Not remasters or anything like that, just re-releases.
Good enough.
And it's going to be the first and second game. I never really got into the second game. I really liked the first one. I played like third and fourth. But for some reason, I never really got into the second game, which apparently has the greatest soundtrack of all time. If you ask.
The second one was stupidly difficult, like unneeded.
It was really difficult.
Like I don't think young Jose ever beat the first level legitimately.
What do you define legitimately? Like without a guide?
Like, without
did you call that hotline again?
Using the cheat code.
Oh.
Beware Oblivion is at hand.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, like those puzzles, I don't know what it is. Maybe like you didn't grow like the fine motor skill you need to like best these fucking ridiculous jump puzzles, or there was something that you didn't develop in your brain yet to like figure it out. But like none of my friends, like none of them could beat it. Like all we did was use cheat codes and fucking like it was like such a weird fucking game in how hard it was. But then playing it again on an emulator like 6-7 years ago, it was like doable. So I think that game, when it launched, I guess because I remember getting it when it came out, it like really got a bad reputation for being hard, but only for kids. And like it was like was it? Oh fuck! It was like a legend. hear like some kids say, "Oh, my friend who goes to another school like beat this game finally," blah blah, without using cheats. It was one of those things where it garnered some kind of legend behind it. So I guess I was really nostalgic about hearing about it, but like actually now, like reflecting and looking back, those are really unneeded remakes. Not exactly the best games they pulled out the
Yeah.
ether to do, but
Not the
at least
best
they're not
use of
wasting
everyone's time.
anyone's time. Yeah, like remastering it.
I don't know, a
Yeah.
Turok remaster could at least be interesting instead of just a re-release. But
I'd like to see them try another reboot on that game. Like they could borrow like liberally from like the Far Cry model.
yeah, that would work out pretty well. You know, like a flat-out jungle environment.
Yeah, make it like an open world shooter, but like add more depth to it. Like,
I mean,
you
it's
know,
Turok.
stop making it all like scripted.
That last Turok was pretty awful.
Yeah, yeah.
The one on Xbox 360.
Yeah, I played like 10 minutes of it.
No, I trucked through, man. Glorious.
Yeah, I wanted nothing to do with that.
I don't blame you in the slightest.
It was just not for me. Apparently, it was just not for a lot of people, actually.
The first
that game
Turok was essentially open world, right?
Yeah.
Right? It was just like
It was just like, well, I
a
mean, it was
giant box.
It was pretty. It was as open world as games of that time got.
Yeah, like it was
Yeah.
linear, but it was basically just one giant map, and you had to
Like
get.
you could get, yeah, there were always like a few branching paths, and all of them were really long and really elaborate, but all of them like eventually took you to the same place.
It's kind of like the first Crisis. Like you're just one giant map, and you can go about it different ways.
Yeah. I don't know. I really enjoyed the first Turok game.
Yeah, I dug the first one a lot.
I remember being so excited when I got it because my mom didn't know what it was. and she walked in on me like playing it one night and was not very happy, and went to Best Buy where she bought it and made them take it back. After 2 months of owning this game, she like made them fucking take it back.
After 2 months.
Yeah.
Like she caught you playing it that night and took it back, but no, it was 2 months later.
No. She
It's
caught me like
because-
playing it 2 months later.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
She took it back the very next day.
And they took that game back, didn't they, Palmer?
Yeah, they did, dude. Yeah. But the best part was I got to exchange it for another game and ended up getting Blast Corps, and that changed my fucking life.
Nice.
Force.
Yeah. Changed my fucking. Never looked back. Never looked back, dude. Like that's part of the real talk. That's the reason. That's the real reason I fucking want the Rare Replay bundle on Xbox is because it has fucking Blast Corps on there, and I want to replay that game so bad it hurts.
That is out and has been out. I'll try to remember to pick that up at some point.
Yeah, man,
It's on sale.
that shit looks like
It has a good lot. It has a lot.
It's
It has a lot of
really
stuff
good
on it,
games,
but
dude.
it's got a lot of stuff from my childhood where I'd be like, oh, I kind of want to revisit that.
Fucking what else is on there?
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect Dark.
Both Perfect
Cameo.
Darks. Perfect Dark Zero. So
What the hell was the name? Not Jet Force. What the fuck was
Jet Set Radio?
No. It was like they're like fighting ants. Like ants are your enemies.
No, that was
Earth Defense Force.
Earth Defense Force. Yeah, that's it. Is it?
Jet Force Gemini was the blue ant fighting game.
Oh, yeah, Jet Force Gemini.
Yeah, it was.
Earth,
Jet Force
Earth
Gemini.
Defense Force is like the
That's
Japanese.
also another
like yeah.
ant fighting.
But yeah,
I fighting ants today. I learned.
I would really love to play Jet Force Gemini again because that game was fucking great.
You had a missile launcher like strapped to your dog, and he's even as like a 10-year-old boy, I was like, that just does not seem safe.
I don't know. I had a total fucking blast with that game. What I would really love
Paradigm
to
shift.
see. This is totally derailing the topic what we were just talking about. But what I would really love to fucking see get remade is the Army Men games from N64 days.
Oh, dude,
Sergeant's
yeah.
Heroes, dude.
I never played
Holy
those.
shit, dude! Those games were the multiplayer was like some of the best fucking It was so good, dude. Like it was it was like a Halo before Halo existed, man. Like it was on that level of good.
And like you could blow the shit out of everything because they were army men, and like
yeah,
no one gave a shit because they were
dude. Like you'd blow their heads off, and like little pink fucking pieces chunks would just go flying, and nobody cared because it was just plastic.
Dude, the best multiplayer was that South Park game. Do you guys remember that one?
Oh, the
like,
first-person shooter one?
Yeah, it was
where
like
you could, pee on the snowballs.
Yeah, you pee on the snowballs.
Yeah. Like,
I still have that. That was
that
dumb.
Dude, that game was awful. I played that shit on an emulator. I want to say about like 9 months ago. Actually, probably almost a year ago at this point. Just because, like, you know, nostalgia. And yeah, that game is trash.
I still have the strategy guide I made my mother buy like all those years ago. Like, in decent condition too. It's disturbing.
Dude, I have one of those, the original prints of the fucking strategy guides for Final Fantasy VII.
I've got one that's beat the fuck.
No, mine's in like really good fucking condition.
Oh, it's pristine.
Yeah, I was on what was it, eBay, I guess. I'm looking at the prices for them. And people are selling those things for like $50 now.
Oh yeah.
I might do it. But like part of me just doesn't want to get rid of it because like every time I play it on Vita or something, like I still go back and use it.
Final Fantasy 3, 7, and 8, like you almost needed the guides for those fucking games.
Yeah, well, just to get everything. Like there were a bunch of like really well hidden things in 7 especially.
Gotta know where to draw everything in 8, dog. Draw them powers.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I don't. I kind of skipped 8. Like
a lot of people did. That saddens me. It had the best. It had the best card game ever. Like it shits all over Hearthstone, dude.
No, dude. Fucking Witcher 3, man. best
shits all
card
over
game
Witcher
inside
3.
a game.
Fable Tales.
I'm still. Hey.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Fucking come on, GOG. CD Projekt Red. Make that a fucking thing.
Remember when they made the board game on The Witcher 3? That I got really excited that I got a couple beta codes for them. We popped on it and it was like fucking awful. Yeah.
They need to just take the card game from Witcher 3 and make that into an actual card game. Please do it.
You know what's crazy? Turok 2's multiplayer, like co-op, like same console multiplayer, was freaking amazing. And if it's just a re-release, it's not going to get like online multiplayer or anything, really.
It might. It's been known to happen in the past.
Well, it better, because I think the only reason to get that game is for the multiplayer.
Was Seeds of Evil, was it the one with the black cartridge?
Yeah. Black
okay,
cartridge,
yeah, I actually still have that. I did play the multiplayer on that then, yeah. I'm pretty sure I was just with you in the single player, though, other than it being I don't really give a fuck because I was a young kid and just didn't care.
The bosses were awesome, if I remember correctly. They were gross, too. Like, the first real boss was, it was just like a top, like the torso of like this gross, like, do you remember in the original, Hobbits cartoon? Or the movie from back in the day? Where like
the ones that like Liam Neeson narrated?
Maybe.
Not Liam Neeson, fucking Spock. Spock
narrated.
Yeah.
You remember how like the orcs and like the goblins look like with like the big jowls and the fat heads? Well, that's how
goofy,
the boss
like body structures and shit.
Yeah. So all the bosses look like that, and they have like giant tits, and then they crawl all over the level, and like it's gross because I guess at that point they had mastered like textures on like sharp polygons, so everything looked fleshlight and round, and it made it look really gross, especially back in the day. And yeah, it just had like really awesome bosses, I remember. And the very last boss was impossible, even with cheats. And everything about that game was like whack. And worthy of a remake, I feel.
You know what else? Total segue. You know what else is worthy of a reboot and might possibly be getting one now that it's out of court? Duke Nukem.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that shit was all done. I thought they were still like.
Yeah, no, it just settled. They settled. Or no, I think like a judge ruled that it was like totally fucking Gearboxes, and that 3D Realm has like no claim over it anymore.
I thought they were like counter somethinging or some shit though.
Yeah, that's all done.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, it's all. So like that was the ruling on it. And so like there's all this talk that Randy Pitchford is gonna like seriously look at finally starting to reboot that after. It's not gonna be for a while, but probably after Borderlands 3 is done, and that would just make me happy. Especially if they gave it like. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Especially if they give it like the proper, like the treatment that franchise that fucking deserves. Like, yeah, like, yeah, they're gonna have to change a lot of shit. They're gonna have to change a lot of shit, especially with how PC society is these days. But fucking
no, that would absolutely negate like why do it at that point? If you can't handle
because they've already tried doing it ironically with that last shitty Duke Nukem game and it doesn't work. So just
but that was
adapt
like
or
yeah, but that was just a terrible game.
Yeah, dude, they picked that up. That game was in development for like fucking years, like over a decade, and fucking they picked it up when it was like 3/4 of the way done. And kind of salvaged what they could from it. Like, of course that game was going to be awful, but it still sold really fucking well. So there's still, like, obviously some interest in this franchise.
If you can't like tip strippers in a remake of Duke Nukem, like I'm just burning down the
Well,
building.
I mean, you can do it in GTA. I'd be very surprised if they couldn't get away with it in fucking Duke.
It'd be really great if they just threw like a curveball and like remade the first Duke Nukem, and it's just a side scroller, but in like CryEngine 3.
Dude, I'd be okay with I'd be okay with something like that. Like that would be like what the fuck is it? Shadow Complex-esque. That could be pretty cool.
Actually, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Especially if they did it in like Unreal 4, that could be fucking sweet, dude.
I think it'd be smarter. It'd be smarter to do 3D, but it would be cool if they went back and redid those. I don't see them doing that, but that would be cool. I do like side scrollers.
That would be fucking sweet, dude. Or maybe like if they explored some of the more like experimental ones that they came out with like on PlayStation and N64 that were like third person. You had like a jetpack.
Oh yeah.
They should do a text-based adventure on the Fox engine. That's what I'm hearing.
That'd be retarded.
And it's all narrated by John St. John. He's just reading the text to you in the Duke voice. Just, and I opened the door. And there were so many ladies.
Every time the game
that was another 64 game that I couldn't fucking.
Yeah, balls. Dude, they have to throw a reference in to that. This is just, there has to be some point where like that happens.
They should have referenced that in fucking Forever.
Yeah, they really should have.
That would have saved that game. They done fucked up.
Yeah, man, that would have been awesome. That would have been great. I don't know, dude. They could do like an edgier, like a Rambo style Duke Nukem, and you have to like go infiltrate Vietnam.
How the fuck infiltrate Vietnam?
I don't know.
Like the
dude.
whitest character ever.
He has to go like infiltrate Vietnam and like it's being or some like other like Asian jungle territory, and like it's being ruled by like a pig cop dictator.
I like that.
Oh my god!
I like the shit out of that.
It was just
I'll
like
season pass.
It's like an internment camp for people that like this pig cop dictator rules over with an iron fist. And he's just got like some sort of like shed, like it's like God of War games where like all of a sudden he walks in and there's just like a shed full of women and it turns into a love scene. And you just have to fucking like quick time event through the love scene.
Quick time event pig sex. I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
Oh man. Yeah, they either need to do something like that or like just really go balls to the wall with it and make it some sort of RPG like Mass Effect along the lines of Mass Effect.
That's fucking horrifying. That is a scary
Duke
thought.
Nukem, like having to go into space and deal with the aliens out there.
Duke Nukem fighting the Reapers.
Yeah, dude, he's the one that has to recruit the crew of people.
It's a really good thing we're not video game developers. I feel.
Dude, I think it's awful. Dude, these are great fucking ideas. People would say, take my money. Could you imagine just Duke Nukem scanning planets? Oh, I found something.
Duke Nukem scanning.
don't have time to play with myself.
You know what's a realistic thing I really want now is a Duke Nukem announcer pack in Dota. That's actually realistic. That could actually happen. That would be amazing.
That Rick and Morty thing, is that true?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude! I bought Instant Buy for me, dude. I've been playing with it in every fucking game. Stupid as shit. Oh man, yeah, that pack is great. But yeah, yeah, Duke Nukem announcer pack could be awesome, man.
It's fucking great, man.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the whole Mass Effect scanning planet for babes thing. I think that's serious.
He didn't say you were scanning for babes.
It changes everything.
Oh.
Yeah, man. We need to write to fucking Gearbox. What the hell, man? Copyright on all these ideas.
To write us back being like, this was the original plan for Duke Nukem Forever, but it got
exactly. Oh man, we just all three of us get on board to consult the story of the new Duke Nukem game. That's how Tim becomes a breakout writer, because he writes the script for the new Duke Nukem.
And for the documentary, is it of him over like a whiteboard, like stressing out, sweating, going crazy, screaming at everyone?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I'd go like full-on business Kramer at that point.
Oh god.
Case full of crackers.
Every once in a while, fucking Duke starts talking about Space Marines. Everybody's just like, what? He just starts throwing in 40K references. Oh man, that'd be great.
The imagery going on in my head right now. Write the shit down.
Yeah, man.
But is there... Fuck. I don't know how we get away from this, but is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we bring this nonsense to...
Oh, man. No, honestly, I think that's a good...
I think scanning for babes is a good way to...
I think it is, too. Oh, I found some. We have to launch an expedition right away.
You think there's some kind of, like, there'll be some kind of, like, monetary towards it, like brunettes are worth more than redheads, or redheads... I'm like, how do we work this system in? What's your idea?
Oh my god! They'll incorporate some sort of Bioshock model, and you have to choose whether to rescue the babe or fucking... I don't even
choose
know.
Which one lives or dies.
You get like different perks depending on your choice.
You get 200 gamer score for not pouring them out, or whatever the hell you do.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god. What a,
Cthulhu, 200 gamer score.
You can't have a Paragon Duke.
No, I don't think that doesn't exist.
Oh god.
It's actually
dialogue wheel.
All right. Well, I think that's a good way to wrap everything up.
I think we can retire now. That was. Need to write this game. Fuck this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. We all need to go do more important things. All right. Well, that was episode 26, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 26. Well, as always, we've got Tim over there with me and Jose down at the bottom. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. We're doing a Let's Play next week, right?
Yeah, that's just I like that the order we've fallen into. Also, you can find all our previous stuff on the links below if you're watching this on Twitch.
Yep.
SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter, Steam Group, PayPal, all that good stuff. You do you, audience. You do you.
I like that.
That's how we like to roll.
I like that.
For babes.
All right. Take care, everybody. We're out.